Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Coleman. I did my article review on NCAA football television viewership and if the product quality and consumer preference are relative to the market expectations. So I'll be looking into that for my article review. So for my presentation, I'll be going over the product and topic being investigated, what the hypothesis and the research question is, the sampling and measurement that was done, the data analysis that was gathered from the authors, also the finding results, as well as the conclusions and recommendations associated with my article. So the problem being investigated in my article is, what is the customer demand? The authors looked into see what the customers' preferences were, whether they were loyal to a certain team, whether they looked at the game depending on what the score was, what time this game started, who was playing, and then they also looked at kind of like the product attributes, which is, was it anticipation or was like the actual contest relative to these outcomes. Some of the implications could be like the network scheduling, the conference that they play in, also like the viewership and revenues that go along with that, as well as some of the sponsorship and advertising that go into each specific game. The hypothesis that was associated with my article is that consumers prefer contests with an unpredictable outcome and that more evenly matched teams were more likely to have a better television viewership. This is also known as the uncertainty of an outcome hypothesis, which has sparked a long line of competitive balance in sports. Outcomes uncertainty is usually traditionally measured in two different manners. The first one being anticipated, which is like the pregame uncertainty of the outcome is associated with like betting lines, point spreads, and customer preferences of what the quality of the matchup may be. Actual outcome is the uncertainty that is measured by using like the final score, what the difference was, how close was the game, and then it also like the degree of the contest and how close it was. Does it come down to the fourth quarter, the last play? Is the game over by halftime? Different things like that go into the actual outcome measurement. In attendance, usually to games, like if you attend the game, is usually measured on like ticket sales or number of people through the gate, certain things like that, where television-based studies are more like depending on the market. It could be just a specific market in this part of the United States that is getting it, or it could be a nationally televised game where everyone in the United States gets to watch it. So viewership can vary, I guess, depending on how close the game, so that's why some of the numbers vary from high to low throughout the period of the game. So the study was conducted with a diverse sample. This allowed the authors to measure different preferences that were associated with the product in game, which were like the anticipated and actual outcome uncertainty, the scoring levels, how close the game was, is the quality absolute or is it just relatively quality that just customers are watching just to watch and kill time. The data was collected from all nationally televised NCAA FBS regular season and postseason games in the years of 2013, 14, and 15. There were a total of 1,127 contests measured. The data sample reflects the full quality of the television contests, and then their models that are in the article vary based on the anticipated level of both the absolute and quality of play. So from what I understood from the data analysis is that the mean contest of all the games was there's approximately 2.2 million viewers. The most watched contest was the 2014 Rose Bowl between Stanford and Michigan State with 18.6 million viewers. And then on average, the pregame closing point spread is 11 points. And the over-under, which is 57 points. Televised contests are relatively evenly split by the season, and approximately 27% of the games were broadcasted on ESPN. The conference with the higher viewership was the SEC. The highest rated season was 2015, and the highest rated time of the day was 7 p.m., with Saturday being the most popular day of the week to watch college football. The results from the article state that the customers responded to the anticipated outcome and uncertainty, which does not support the hypothesis. This could indicate the outcome is not associated with national television viewership, but it could also explain that national television viewership is a diverse set of customers who could turn in the contest just to watch the game. They aren't invested. Maybe they just need some background noise, or it's a close game, or there's a reason. That's just the reason they're watching it, because they have nothing better to do. The results also demonstrated that there's a changing level of absolute and contest quality, which the anticipated quality and the influence is not consistent to national viewership. The different levels of scoring and the actual level of scoring is not consistent with viewership either. The viewership has declined significantly during this study. Over the 3-season sample of 2013, 14, and 15, the model suggested that television viewers have decreased by 341,000 viewers per contest. This could be just a reflection of there's a change in viewership. People can stream it, they can watch it on their phones. There's different ways to watch it than just buy the cable package and watch it. There's more of this now, but during the time of the article, there could be suggestions that like the conferences and networks should work together to schedule preseason games that could be more interesting, such as top 25 matchups, powerhouses facing each other from different conferences. This will amp the schedule up and also gain more TV viewership on a national level. In conclusion, the article determines that college football television viewership over a full quality spectrum of contests examine whether the customer preferences vary given the change in characteristics of the core product or the game itself. The results also indicate that there's a lack of support for contests that are high relative quality. The finding fails to support the hypothesis in context of anticipated outcome uncertainty. The customers prefer for contests that are closer than anticipated, which support the hypothesis in the context of the actual outcome of uncertainty. The result is not statistically significant across all games, but the customer's preferences may be fluctuated based on the expectations regarding the contest. The results are in conjunction with a large supply of the same sports contest that has implications for contest scheduling strategy for the conferences and networks. The conferences and networks can structure schedules given the projected team qualities entering each season based on more recent information, and they can schedule the game that they want to have on TV to maximize viewership and then in turn maximize revenue. There can also be future research that should continue to examine the preferences of customers both in the anticipated and actual characteristics of the games. And they can also continue to investigate the psychology behind the decisions that people make in which game they watch and why they watch it versus a nationally televised game versus a local closed market television game. Here's my article reference. Thank you everyone for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show.